Nikki Haley supported a brutal 23% national sales tax, which is a disaster, by the way, why she did it. And that's why some people call her the Nikki New Tax. I don't think that's particularly good, but she did support. She wants a 23% national sales tax, and Ron DeSantis wants that also. He wants it to be 23. I think that makes them unelectable. I think if you have a 23% tax like that, I think it makes them unelectable. And there's other reasons they're unelectable, but I can tell you the greatest people in the world at misinformation and disinformation are the radical left crazy Democrats. If they think they're going to have an easy time with somebody, they'll say, oh, we don't want to run against them, they're so good. If they think they're going to get their ass kicked by somebody, they say, that's the one, we want to run against Trump. We want to run against. How did they do the last two times? It was not good for them. So we're going to take this country, we're going to turn it around, we're going to make it better than ever before, greater than ever before. The radical Democrats are looking to literally destroy our country. And sometimes you wonder, think of it, open borders, people coming in from prisons, from jails. There's a slight difference. Do you know what the difference between a prison and a jail is? Not enough to talk about. Let's put it this way. Not enough to talk about, but they're coming in from prisons and jails. They're coming in from mental institutions and insane asylums. Insane asylum, that's a step beyond. That's Silence of the Lambs. That's Hannibal Lecter. Did you ever hear of Hannibal Lecter? They're being dropped into our country. Hannibal Lecter is coming in, lots of them. They're closing up insane asylums all over the world, not just in South America. They're closing them up all over the world, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in the Middle East. We're bombing Yemen. We have a guy who's in charge of our war. I read about it today. He's using a laptop from his hospital bed. They couldn't find him, Secretary of Defense. And he's running the war with a laptop like a child would do, you know, like a child plays with a laptop. And these are the same people that ran Afghanistan into the ground. You know, I was taking everybody out of Afghanistan, but we're doing it with strength and we're doing it with dignity. We were coming out. And they were afraid of us, and they weren't doing anything. I spoke to Abdul, you know Abdul, the leader of the Taliban, and we had a rough conversation. And after that conversation, not one American soldier was killed for 18 months. And then you had that disaster by Biden where they took the military out first. No, you take the military out last. You get your people out first. You get your equipment out, and then you come out. But they took the military out first. We have those same people telling us about wars in the Middle East. You don't need wars because, you know, we built the strongest military in the world. We defeated, as you know, ISIS, 100% of the caliphate. Soleimani gone, al-Baghdadi gone, all of the big terrorists gone. We created a safe nation. We didn't have one terrorist attack in 4 years. I never said that during my 4 years because I say I don't want to have it and then the next day we have an attack. But we didn't have one terrorist attack. Iran was broke. I told China, I told all of the countries, anybody that does business with Iran buying oil, because they are really the purveyor of cash, but the purveyor of terror. They would give billions and billions of dollars out to Hamas, to Hezbollah, billions and billions. I say anybody that does business with Iran, you're not doing business with the United States. Plus, we're going to put a tariff of 100% on all your goods that you send in. And everybody, including China, said, well, I guess we're not doing business with them, and they were broke. A congressman, well-known Democrat congressman, 2 weeks ago was on, I believe it was Deface the Nation. Did anybody ever hear of Deface? Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump on Deface the Nation. It is Deface today because they're dishonest, so they deface the nation, right? Or meet the fake press. But they were on Deface the Nation, and he said, you know, whether we like it or not, Iran was broke. They were broke. He used that term under the Trump administration. They couldn't do anything. They had no money. They had to survive. And we would have made it possible for them. All I wanted them to do is not have a nuclear weapon. Now they're 38 days away from having a nuclear weapon, and these guys don't know what to do because they're incompetent. Our leaders are incompetent. They're incompetent fools. They're 38 days away, they say, from having a nuclear weapon. Once they have a nuclear weapon, negotiation is going to be a whole different thing. I was able to do a great job with Kim Jong-un. You might have heard of him. I used to call him Little Rocket Man, but he became somebody that we actually got along with very well. He'd love to see me back. We had a very good relationship. When the press hears I have a relationship with Kim Jong-un or any of them, they say, that's terrible. No, it's not terrible. It's called smart. You have a relationship. You would have had a nuclear war if Hillary Clinton got it. You know? You would have had a nuclear war if Hillary Clinton got in. But we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around fast. You don't have to get into these wars. Look at what's happened in Ukraine. The place has been decimated. Many more people are killed than you read about. You know, they'll knock down an apartment. You see the size of those buildings? They're long. They're like 3 blocks long. They'll knock it down. They'll say 2 people were injured slightly. No. Many people were killed. The real numbers will come out, and you're going to see many more people are killed in Ukraine than anybody thought even possible. The numbers are massive. And the cities are just being flattened. They're being leveled. Buildings, you know, it's their culture, the magnificent golden towers going up that are 1,000 years old and all this stuff is just being leveled to the ground. It's so sad to see. This never would have happened if I were the president, and everybody knows it. And it didn't happen, you know. People say, well, how do we know? Well, it didn't happen. For 4 years, it didn't happen. And Putin and I got along very well. It would have never, ever happened. I talked about it. That was the apple of his eye. There's no question about it. I said, don't do it, Vladimir. Don't do it. We had some good talks, I will tell you. But he wouldn't have done it. And likewise, they would have never done the attack on Israel because they didn't have the money to do it. And they knew that there would have been a very big attack back. And it would have never happened. What they did on October 7th, what they did was unthinkable, so horrible. But it would have never happened. All of these things would have never happened. Inflation would have never happened because oil caused inflation. Energy caused inflation. Energy is so big. If you make donuts, you need it for the stoves, for the trucks. You need it to distribute. Every business is not a business that doesn't need energy, and most of the energy is oil. And what they did with the oil was so bad. It's just so bad, and that caused the inflation. Now it's you look at the price as an example of bacon, up 5 times. What does 5 times mean? I looked at it the other day, but our food prices are up 45 and 50%. Our energy's up 50%. Everything's up to a level that even if you are doing well, you're losing. You're way, way behind the 8 ball. Well, we're going to all bring it back for you. It's not going to be complicated, and it's going to go very fast. So I'm the only candidate who can withstand the vicious media smear machine. It's a vicious group of people back there. And the dirty tricks that the Democrats have in store. Because remember, if I wasn't running, they'll do the same thing to whoever it is that is running, and you watch, they'll wilt like little babies. They're going to wilt like a beautiful rose. You watch, there's nobody else could take this crap, I want to tell you. There's nobody else could take it. Just think of the field day crooked Joe Biden and his media protectors would have. And they are protectors. They protect him. I mean, you see things that are so bad. I mean, he can't walk off a stage. He's looking for the stairs. Where am I? Where am I? This guy's negotiating nuclear with Putin. Where am I? They're all grabbing. You know, you ever see they set Secret Service, by the way, is great. They run up on the stage to grab him because they're afraid he's going to fall off the front of the stage. No, there's stairs all over. We got 3 of them here. One there, one there, one there, right? And he doesn't know that. And his speeches are not exactly good. They're very short, you know, because you run out of octane, you know. You run out. You ever notice he starts off, hurrah, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Oh, we're going to get MAGA. By the end of the speech, he's like, oh. They say, get him off the stage. He needs another act. Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to the cocaine? Whatever happened to whatever the hell it was that they had in the White House a couple of them? That was a strange event. That was a strange. No, we're laughed at all over the world. We're laughed at. You know, look, I know the leaders of the world. I know them very well. Got along with most of them. The tougher they were, the better I got along. I don't know what that is. That's maybe something a little sad. But I got along with the toughest ones. Maybe that's the best thing. But the ones that were weak and ineffective, I didn't actually get along with them as well. But they understood. But, you know, when you look at what we have here, can you imagine what they think when this guy walks into their office and he can't put two sentences together? And these guys are at the top of their game. They're all at the top of their game. And we have a guy that 30 years ago really wasn't very good. But now he's really bad. Now he's really bad. Just ask Ted Kennedy. Good old Ted Kennedy told me a long time ago, I was friends with him in Palm Beach. I said, Ted, let me ask you a question. Who's the smartest guy in the Senate? And he gave me an answer. I won't tell you who it was because I can't stand the guy, okay? I said, who's the dumbest? I got along with him because I did him a big favor in Palm Beach. They had a house, the Kennedy compound, a very rich family in Palm Beach. And I did him something. It was a very nice favor, very, very nice. And for some reason, he never forgot it. He liked it. I liked him. He was slightly left of me, like by about 200 degrees. But he was a great guy, an entertaining guy. I said, so who's the dumbest? Who's the dumbest guy in the Senate? And he goes like, probably Joe. I said, who's Joe? He said, Joe Biden. He doesn't understand anything that's complex, like taxes, although he does understand, if you think about it, he does understand something about finance because a lot of money pours into his account. But he said, probably Joe. And I always remember that. That was a long time ago, 20, 25 years ago. Long prior to his death, actually. But he said, probably Joe. Who's Joe? Joe Biden. So this is what we have. And now he's our president. And now he's our president at a reduced level. Okay, at a reduced level. You know, we're dealing with the most complex and most powerful weapons in the world. And we have a man that has no idea what he's doing. And you'll end up in World War III. I'm the only one that can promise you that we will not end up in World War III. There's not going to be world wars, not with me. There's not going to be world wars. And we do that through strength, not through weakness. So what I want to do is I want to just tell you, it's very simple. We have to get out. We have to take back our country. We have a country that's in such bad shape. We have to take it back. Nikki Haley is a disaster. She worked for me for a long time. I mean, I know it very well. I actually put her there for a different reason. I shouldn't say this, but you had a lieutenant governor named Henry McMaster who was fantastic. I figured if I took her out of South Carolina governorship, put her someplace, any place, I put her someplace, then Henry McMaster, who was my friend and who's turned out to be a great governor in South Carolina, Henry McMaster would become the governor. So I moved her to the United Nations. And honestly, she was not a good negotiator. She was not a good negotiator. Now she likes to talk about when I negotiated with China. I negotiated with China. I did all of it. We got in hundreds of billions of dollars, and I did it. And, you know, she has a hit on Social Security. You know, she wants to raise the age very substantially. You don't need that. We don't want to do that. And we have that liquid gold. We don't have to do that to our seniors. You earned it. You're right. Who said that? That's a good point. You earned it. You did earn it. And you don't need that. And the same thing with Medicare. They want to obliterate it. We're not going to do that. So I say this. Get out and vote. And make sure we win by big margins. The bigger the margin, the bigger the mandate that we have, the stronger we're going to be. And I mean strong, not just for the next state, because the next state is Nevada, and we're leading by 90 points. So I mean, unless you had a catastrophic event, I think that's in good shape. And then we go to South Carolina, we're leading by a lot. And then we're leading by everything, by everywhere you go. But I'm talking about November. We have to win. Let's send the word to the other side. They're very destructive. Remember this, and I say it all the time. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of our country, they will not have done the damage that crooked Joe Biden and this corrupt administration have done to the United States of America. So we want to send a strong signal. So even though we're leading by a lot, you have to go out and vote. You just have to do it. If it's cold, if it's hot, I don't care what the hell it is, you have to go out and vote, okay? And just don't sit back. You know, the one thing, and they really did it in every speech, I started off by saying, look, we're leading by a lot, but you must go out and vote. Don't sit home and say, well, you know what, I love the president, but he's going to win by so much, because we have to show big margins. We have to show margins like never before, which is what happened last night. We have to show margins like never before. because we have to take back our country. And if we don't take back our country, we're not going to have a country.